I'm calling this video Flash Tutorial Add Dynamic Text 3 frames. It's very similar to a video I just did called Flash Tutorial Add Dynamic Text, and that's in a playlist called Just For You on my YouTube. This is very similar. So let's have a look at what's been sent to me. Someone sent me this FLA, and if I test it out, okay, just want to move this out of the way. If I click this, a value goes into this text box. Then I go to the next frame. I click this, a value goes in the text box. We'll go to the next frame. But when I go to the next frame, I get this error code. It's at 1009, cannot access a property or method of a null object reference. And I know what that means, that somewhere along the way, and we're talking about frame 3 here, somewhere along the way on frame 3, there's items that have been taken out. If I go back to frame 2, you see these two boxes here? If I go here, they're gone. Well, Flash don't like that. It's still looking for those objects back here. So what we got to do is put those two objects back on this frame 3. The problem is you don't want to see them, so we'll deal with that in a minute. Let's look at this button. So we'll take, I want to lock this frame, select the buttons layer, and there's two buttons here. I'm going to highlight them, right click, I'm going to copy them. Now I'm going to go to this frame here. I'm on my third frame, right click, paste them in place. There they are. While they're still highlighted, I'm dragging them off the stage. So now when I test it, these are here, and I shouldn't get that 1009 error when I go to that frame 3. Okay, puts a 1 in, next, puts a 3 in, next, and I still have it. And I believe that's because we have to do the same thing to the text boxes. So go here. I'm locking all the layers except this text layer. Select that one, and it's the text box I want. Get the crosshairs. Oops, excuse me. Right click, copy that. Go to this frame. Right click, paste it in place, and get the crosshairs and drag it off the stage. Now, when it's off the stage here, it's not going to be seen when I test my movie. Test movie test. And hopefully it's not here. There's the 1 next. There's the 3 next. And I don't have a result of, I have a result of 0, which is wrong, but I don't have that error anymore. So that's the first thing we cleaned up. Let's go back to my timeline. I'm locking all my layers. Looking at this action layer, frame 1, and there's some things I don't get here. I don't recognize this code here at all. This value num here, and this is not a good way to declare a variable. When I come down here and do this function here where I'm putting 1 into the text box, we know that's happened. We see it. I'm going to put an enter sign here, and I'm going to do what's called a trace, T-R-A-C-E. This is a troubleshooting aid. Open bracket, num, N-U-M-1, close bracket, semicolon. So now when I test it and press this button 1, I should see this in my output panel. So let's test that. Control, test, movie test. I press this, number 1 appears here, but 0 appears here, which means that this code is not recognizing this, the way this variable was made up. So let's click here and let's write num, num1, that's that variable, equals 1, semicolon. So now I'm telling it directly to make this work, and this will prove that my trace works. Control, test movie test. No errors. And, whoops, sorry. Control, test movie test. When I click here, the 1 goes in and I trace 1. So that means my trace is working, but not my means of updating it with this. So what I got to do is, I don't need this anymore. Click, click. Up here, I'm going to put 2 forward slashes here. I don't understand that line of text. And here I want to make a variable, so it's num1, then it's a colon, num, capital N-U-M, there I can click number, equals 1. So now this is doing what that was trying to do. Let's just test that, make sure I can trace that 1 when I do it. No errors, I hope. And when I click this, I get the 1 and I'm tracing 1. So now, so far so good. So let's go to frame 2 and do the same format. So timeline, frame 2. I know that I want this change. This is going to be variable num2 colon number, capital N-U-M, there it is here, so I can click on it, equals 3 is what he wanted in here. Okay, and this we don't want, and we got to stop on this frame. So put it, enter up here, stop, S-T-O-P, open, close, semicolon. And right here, we're going to just put this in here, N-U-M-2, num2 equals 3. This is actually doing that for us because we could have just used that. And to see if that's working, we're going to trace it. T-R-A-C-E, open bracket, N-U-M-3, num3, close bracket, semicolon. And this too should work without an error. Test movie. Implicit value, unrelated type string. Line 6 on frame 3. Okay, we got something wrong with my frame 3. That's good. Back to the action code. Open up frame 3. Open up frame 3, and it said line 6. It's this here that is the problem. This has to be written to string. So here I need an open bracket. Here I need a closed bracket. I need a period. T-O, small t, capital S-T-R-I-N-G, to string, open, close bracket. And now this, we don't have a num3, so we don't need this. We don't need this. And I want to put a stop here. I don't know if it's needed, but I'm putting one here, S-T-O-P, open, close bracket, semicolon. Now we should be able to get through this. Test movie test. Access line 9, frame 2. Frame 2, line 9. I'm talking about num3. I better check that out. Line 9. Oh yeah, this was supposed to be checked. Trace num. This is supposed to be trace num2 back here. Okay, and that's still all right. That would have worked. Test movie test. Love that output panel. There's the 1, there's the 1. Next frame. There's the 3, there's the 3. Next frame. Click the results. There's 4, no errors. Good. Now, something you may or may not want to know is when you do this and you have this variable num1, you could make it a set of the 0 and you can change it here like I did, but if you wanted to, you could have this something like this. You could have something going on that actually changes the value of this. Like you could have num1 be the result of a test, and that would actually be put into this variable. I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope you use what you learn.